Good morning. I'm Dr. Velma Love, Project Director for Equipping the Saints, Promising Practices in Black Congregational Life at Howard University School of Divinity. This project was funded by the Lilly Endowment, and our intent is to investigate, to look at and examine some of the promising practices in Black congregations that contribute to holistic health and well-being for congregants and communities. Today I have with me Dr. Kenyatta Gilbert. Dr. Gilbert is the research collaborator in Atlanta, Georgia, and his focus is on the preached word. Dr. Gilbert, will you tell us something about your research in Atlanta?
It really is an interesting city, and the people that populate the pews of Atlanta's congregation realize one thing, and that is, I think, preaching matters. Preaching not only matters, but it changes lives and it changes those communities where it's practiced. Our primary emphasis with our research is centered around two questions. What are the relationship dynamics in the congregational culture when it comes to listening and processing sermons? And also, how do preachers prepare, embody, and deliver their sermons? And so we've gotten a range of responses in respect to those questions.
So can you share with us then some of the things that jump out? What are some of the themes you have found when people responded to your question about listening, and by the same token, pastors in terms of preparing for holistic preaching?
We got a range of responses from the lay members. Some said, we appreciate that our preacher, our pastor backs everything up with scripture. Others, say, we appreciate that our pastor is very transparent, speaks to relevant issues, doesn't shy away from controversial topics. And then we find others that would say, I wish our pastor didn't preach politics all the time. And so, given that, the range of responses has been tremendous.
I can imagine it would be kind of a difficult job to sift through all of this information. Yeah. As far as the Congregational Resource Guide, I know the project will be issuing a resource guide later on. Mm-hmm. Have you identified any particular themes that you want to highlight for the resource guide?
I think it's interesting that that each of these congregations, they take on a different discussion in reference to worship ethos, theological perspective, as well as what types of business-oriented structures that they have in place. And so what I've seen and heard is that the social gospel is very important. So that would be an overarching theme or trend that we've seen and identified throughout both of these congregations. Of course, like many, the fervent, charismatic style of worship rings true throughout, and the appreciation for Christian worship. And also because our pastors are all formally trained theologically, there's this encouragement for theological thinking and intellectual thinking. So I think that is also a trend that we're seeing. Many teach and preach in a didactic way, seeking to educate their congregation.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. We could continue this very fascinating conversation, but we need to draw to a close. So I just want to say thank you for your work and for what you will do in the future with helping us to understand how the preacher's words really do matter to the congregants. So if you're interested in learning more about equipping the saints, you could find that information on the Howard University School of Divinity website at www.divinity.howard.edu. Thank you.